Hey guys, today I'm gonna cover I know this is gonna be an unexpected video this week, but since it's my birthday week and stuff, I cannot be bothered to edit 5 videos right now, so I shoehorned this into the schedule. Honestly, I didn't plan to make this because of, I believe everybody knows what the chaos is happening because of this set and what this card is, but you know, I end up having it anyway, so I'm making this video. Even Apollo is complaining about it, which is, oh well. Anyway, this is Liael, the Kita Liael version. I can't say much more than that because it's a very weird, because you're given so many options for the first time ever. The deck becomes very non-linear in strategy. It's hilarious. This deck version is, if you feel like a lucky player, you can pull this off. If you're not a very lucky player, you kind of cry a bit. But anyway, let's get started. For the right line, we start with our energy crest. I don't need to explain this to you. Grade 0. I chose you can choose any starter you want. I chose Player of Orphan Ballista because I want to be on theme. Grade 1 is your let me see here. Alphas. When it's rolled upon by a player of Beautiful Court and Gentia, so +1, draw 2 cards, and then you discard a normal unit. Pretty straightforward. Then obviously you need your Elginta because you want to discard. Her skill is basically when it's rolled upon by a card with Liael in its card name, you put you choose any number of normal units, put it at the bottom of the deck, and then if you put 3 or more, you basically just draw a card. And then unconventionally, I decided to run Draconis in the right line. It's crazy. I know it's crazy, but like, honestly, the stupid part is it works. Like, one of the things that the skill actually matters, so I'm gonna tell you the skills right now. The act ability is you Energy Blast 4, you bind a card from your drop, and then you discard a card from your hand, and then Draconids gain +1 drive until end of turn. This unit specifically, you don't get a red text, so you lose. So it's so on a divine skill it would be like 4 drive then 1 drive, so you get a total of 3 drives then 1 drive, so that'll be like 4 drives in the turn already. So it's actually pretty damn good. So anyway, obviously you have your standard Liael skill. When this unit attack, counter +1, you bind one of your rear guards, and then you choose a card from your bind zone, and then you call it to a rearguard circle that is in your bind. So if you have like Gabuelas, Regiel, you can choose either Gabuela or Regiel. Basically, it's actually really cool. I like it. If I go pure Draconis, I'll see how I can make this work, but I'm still working on it because since it's a PR, I'm just tournament farming right now. Anyway, that's the skill. The second ability is the divine skill, which is actually the reason why this deck can work as stupid as it is. Basically, the divine skill is if your opponent's grade 3, you can use it, and then when you want to use it, you can write a card with Liael in its card name specifically. So that means her copy, and Amota. The reason why not Animuse is because of its restriction. Later I'll explain. And then you can write it as stand. So you will write Amota as stand. And then you can write it from Soul too, which means very little in this build. In standard Draconis it matters a bit, but if you need to write from Soul, you got issues. Yeah, that means you're building something wrong. Anyway, then it gets -1 drive, your standard Liael divine skill, basically. It says the drive to 1, not -1 drive. That's very bizarre. Anyway, that's it for the right deck. This is basically going second. If you're only riding into this, you're going second, so that's why it's in your right deck, because it's a one-off. Then okay, so anyway, we start with the unexpected 4 copies of Liael Mota, because you need to see this by turn 3. one way or another. If you're going second, you don't need to rush too hard into it because you can search it. Going first, you can't search it, so you need to see it, and you need to keep it in your hand until turn 3 when you're going first, which should be very doable. Liael Mota's skill, if you guys have been living under a rock for over a year. Over a year? Yeah, over a year, because Amota was like set 2, and this is the deck set version, because I'm an idiot, I should have bought the... Oh god, what is wrong with me? I could have bought Amota. Oh well. Moving on. When this unit attacks, you counterblast 1, you choose a card in the rearguard, bind it, and then you call the same card that you bound to the rearguard circle, and then you shuffle the deck. And then it has the Guardian Circle effect, one of the few boss units with more than just Vanguard Circle effects. Although nobody has seen Guardian Circle like this for like ever. Basically, when it's placed on Guardian Circle, you discard a card from your hand, choose 2 cards from your bind zone, return them to the bottom of the deck in any order. Then you can, basically any of your Vanguard with Fated 1 in its name gets the PG effect, which is cannot be hit. It can apply to herself, it can apply to Draconis because it's Fated 1 of Sacred Time, Draconis. And then you can see actually it's Fated 1. Fated 1. Basically. So Fated 1 of time, this is Fated 1 this is Fated 1 of time in general. Amota, Liael Amota. And then the Divine skill is very important also because you will use this version if you're going first. Basically, when this unit, at the end of battle, this unit attack your opponent's grade 3, standard. You can only Divine skill you can only ride the same card with the same name as your Vanguard as 10, and it gets -1 drive, so it's -1 drive, which is kind of interesting actually. This one says set it to 1. I don't know. Weird, the text is like it. So it gets -1 drive, so you can use the skill again. I mean, it's not hard once per turn, so that's the fun part. So you will write this from hand if you're going first. Yeah, basically that's all it does. Then of course, back to the main show on the road. This is one who bears resolve and sin, Liael Animuse. I don't know how to pronounce it. I watched the anime and I still cannot figure across the pronunciation. I don't know why. Basically, this is your cross ride. Yes, every deck gets a cross ride now. Yay! This is Dual Nation, so it works with ODM too. But it doesn't work with Draconis because they're funny. Basically, this can only be read. The continuous effect basically just says you can only write it from a grade 3 ODM or Amota, so GG. But when you do, you persona write, so I mean you don't lose a turn because Busher will realize they cannot force you to cross write because you hate the lack of power. And honestly, in this meta, if you don't persona write on turn 4, you've got issues. So we run 4 copies because obviously we want to see them and we want to cycle them through. When this unit is placed, other than the persona effect, you will choose a Amota or Odium from the drop or soul, and it gets all the name and abilities. So Black Mario just says negate abilities, so in a sense it'd be like this white text over with this white text, and then those get erased, but this name here would be here, and then so it doesn't get negated. So Black Mario cannot negate your name, so it is a Fated 1 of time. It is a Fated 1 in basically for the rest of the game. Basically you get it for the rest of the fight, and then you obviously you get a new card over, then you have to reactivate it. So typically I try to keep one, unless you have one in your hand. Actually, even though you have one in your hand, I like to keep one in the soul. Unless you basically go first and then you persona ride, and then you have to you divine skill over the Fated 1 instead, because it has both names. It's like the stride ruling basically. It has it is Animuse, it is Amota. It is because this one says divine skill. You ride a card with the same name as itself, becomes it itself has its own name, so it has 2 names to choose from. It's kind of like Stride, it's kind of funny. So if you, it's just kind of funny in premium, because like if you can somehow get a card and choose onto a drop, you can, in theory, Stride, whatever, not important. Anyway, then the second ability, which is what makes Odium stronger, yeah, but it makes Amota kind of funny. Basically, the skill is basically, it's an act ability because they don't want you to use it during a divine skill turn. If you did a divine skill this game already, you energy plus 3, and then it gains the ability of when this unit attack, you can stand a rear guard. Any rear guard, so you can stand a column or you can stand an additional attack. But what are you doing not doing 5 attacks when you can do it? In this meta, I've got no clue. So that's that. Because we have still fatal ones, hey, Gabuela still works. We run 3 Gabuelas, since we can cycle it back later, I'll show you how. The skill is when this unit is placed, so +1, lower top card of your deck, you may put it at the bottom. If you do, +5k. The second effect is basically when this unit attacks, if you're on limit break 4, which means you have 4 more damage, it gets +5,000 power when this unit is placed by your fatal one instead. So when you're in fatal one, which is basically end of the Liaels at this point, you can counterblast, and no drive checks will perform by your rear guard during this battle, which doesn't matter because this is the only drive checker. You can counterblast 1, it gets +10k power instead of 5, so it becomes a 23k beat state, and then it gets -1 drive, and it can perform drive check, so it's 1 drive beat state, so it gives you the additional drive. This deck basically eats out a lot of counterblast, but there is a very good solution I'll get to. We run 3 Nebula Knight and 1 Fire because, honestly speaking, funny thing. Oh, I forgot to mention. Oh god, this tells you how unscripted this video is. Basically, other than the gaining the ability, you look at top 5 cards, put a card into your bind zone, then you pick a card from your bind zone and put it to your drop. Why is that important? Because Nebula Knights. 1 Fire Regardless, basically you can use it as a skill. It doesn't kill your order turning. And when you use it, you're top 5 and you call a card. If you can't call a card, you just draw, so it's pretty good. This one, on the other hand, Nebula Knights. When you play it, it goes to bind. Then you look at top 7 to call a card. And the funny thing is, when you go to Animuse, every time you go to Animuse, this goes back to drop. And then you can play it again. There's like, because it says any card in your bind to drop. So you just put, once you have 1 Nebula Knight out, it just cycles itself. So it's pretty crazy. Anyway. Next we got 4 copies of the most painful donation of all time. Sky Engraving, Decree, Uriel and Liael, which I don't know who they are, I don't know where the hell they come from, but there you go. When this unit is bound or gauged by your Greater Vanguard with Liael, is cunning because it works with Odium too, because it's an Odium card. If you look at top 5 card, choose a grade 3 or greater card without Regardless piece, and then you put it, reveal it, put it in your hand and shuffle the deck. Which is actually really funny because it's a once per game turn ability. So you cannot use this twice. You can only use this ability once, which I don't get it. Everything in Liael, you can do it multiple times. I don't know why it did. Suddenly thinking this is OP. I genuinely don't get it. Anyway, so it didn't say any zone, so any specific zone. So you can do it. If you're on Draconis, you bind this from drop, it works. If you're on, you obviously can bind it on rear, and then if you find it on your top 5 from this girl, it triggers as well, so you get an instant filter for free, which is probably why it's balanced out. When this unit is placed from hand, you count +1, you draw a card. Basically, you can use this on turn 2 because you just need to reveal a card from your right deck with Liael and Animus, and Draconis is a Liael, obviously. When this unit attack, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Liael, which you always are, you have 3 Liaels in this deck. If you fail to have a Liael, you got issues. It gets +5k power until end of turn. If your opponent's grade 3, it gets +10 instead of 5. So, no, it doesn't need to see a copy of itself in mind. It just needs to see your opponent being grade 3. And then it gets +10. If it gets +10, you can cycle back a normal unit into back into your main deck. Or you can put it into your soul. So it solves your soul issue that Liael has been having. Although I somehow don't have soul issues anymore because of this. So that's great. Next, I run 4 copies of Liael. Decently old card, but it's in the deck set. A lot of this stuff is in the deck set. That's how I got my shit, because I got lazy. When this unit is placed, if your Vanguard is Liael and its card name, so +1 to the top 7, and a Gabuelas or Liael and its card name, basically you have in your main deck is only Amota and Animuse. So, and then Gabuelas is Gabuelas. You know what Gabuelas is. Add it to your hand and shuffle the deck. When this unit attack, if your bind zone has it gains +5. If your Vanguard is a grade 3 or greater Liael in its card name, if your Gabuelas in bind, it gets +10 instead. Basically, it's 20k beats there as long as you have 1 Gabuelas in bind, which is very doable. Next, for the great ones, we have Almoth. Honestly, I run this because I like the power loadedness of this. I don't have Selgon right now because, you know, I don't need my... It's in the IG deck set and that hasn't been released. I got 1 silver rare because it was the only one available. Basically, when this unit is placed, if you basically prove that you're playing a Liael deck, it energy charges 1. Pretty good. Honestly, it allows you to EB7 and draw a lot of times, so it's pretty funny. At the end of the battle, this unit boosted. If you're on Liael and your opponent's grade 3, put this to your soul as the cost, and then you gain the ability of basically this red text here. Red text, the silver red. You cannot see it very clearly because of the red background. Gains 5. Your final raise gain 5,000 power, and it stacks. So if you have 3, +15. If you execute 2, it's +10. Honestly, you only use 2 at once. I'll explain why later. Because of my counter, because I'm cheap. That's that. Other than Almoth, we have our last few great ones. For our board is this guy. His name is Dragon, which is a very old card. This was since Liael. Basically, at the end of battle, when this unit is placed, if your unit was placed by your Vanguard with Divine Skill this turn, this unit gets the auto ability. It doesn't need to place, it just needs to see a card being placed. At the end of battle, this unit boosted. You retire this card, and then you counter charge 1. And it gets +5,000 power. So basically, the continuous says if it sees a card being placed by your Vanguard's ability, it gains 5,000 power. And everything. So it's a 13k booster that retires after counter charge. And ideally you run Dissection because you can reactively counter charge, but with this you have to proactively counter charge. Basically, even though you have a lot of face up cards, you want to keep counter charging so that you don't run out. Which is a bit unfortunate, but I've worked with it and it's actually not that bad. If they counter blast deny you, it's fine. You need the extra turn anyway. And then I know you guys are keeping count of the cards and you're like, wait a minute, how do I space for that? I run 3 PGs because when 4 Amotas are already a perfect guard. You don't need that many. I run Shadow Paladins because they share the same cards as my encounter stuff. Although they might change soon considering Royal Planet PGs are coming out. So I might use them instead. 2 normal, 1 Elementaria. This is from the deck set obviously because I like Erica. Erica's my gorgeous cute little girl. I like Hikari. I like Erica. Not much for me to say there. But I'm a Kita main, so I have to pick the Kita video. I run Unmet Inoa for more drive, more pressure, and really have issues with it. It's pretty insane. As long as you got front row rears, this is fine. I just like drive checking my opponent to death, so that's why I run that. I run 3 front triggers. These are the shield fronts. You don't need soul fronts anymore because, like I said, grade 2 solves that issue. Run 8 crits and 4 heals. That's pretty much it. Your trigger count is 16 as usual, and then you just run, instead of 4 PGs, you run 3, because I might cut it down to 2, because I want to fit in Karagon later and down the line, but we'll see. Overall, a pretty funny deck. Like, 3 Liaels in one deck. Oh, you can't see that. There we go. 3 Liaels in one deck. Like, pretty funny, actually. Like, I've tried it. Like, honestly, going first still sucks. You have to ride into this going first, but it sucks so bad because your hand advantage just doesn't exist. But once you're on turn 4, you're fine. You just need to make it to turn 4, which shouldn't be too hard. Going second is definitely much more consistent because you can see your pieces easily because everything activates when you're going second. Although you have to have a lot more shield value in hand, which, yeah, oh well. Looking at the deck, I don't know how much shield value you're getting out of that. But it works! Scarily well. I mean, my sister was frustrated last night when I was testing it against her Leonon, which is a fully built Leonon, by the way. I did cover that in this channel. Other than that, I'd say just try it out if you have the resource to do it, because donation, pre-order for English side. Please pre-order your splits for this card if you plan to buy it to play it at all. The market will kill you. Other than that, you're fine. Draconis is cute. I find Draconis look nicer than Amota even. I used to be the other way around, but the blue is growing on me. Anyway, other than that, like, subscribe, and then I'll see you in the next video. Bye.